What's going on, people? Welcome to the player rating show. It has been a while. Forget about player ratings, just me just doing the shows in general. But I went with the game, went to the game with Louis, and here we are talking about the ratings. As always, make sure to get involved in the comment section down below with your ratings, as well as dropping a like and subscribing if you are new to the channel. Lou, before we get started, what a day yesterday was. It was the first away game for me. And yeah, I was looking forward to, like, I already planned it. It's not like, oh, if we beat Brighton, I'm going to be back. But, you know, I just needed a little bit of a break due to personal reasons. But yeah, like, yes, was something else with Palace. We both didn't expect it, right?
Do you know what? Everyone was quietly confident. Everyone you spoke to, all of the boys that we was with, anyone you spoke to was like, "Oh, I've got a feeling about today," which kind of made it worse. No, not 3-1, but everyone expected. There was kind of feeling a win. So that made it more nervous. The fact that everyone was kind of expecting a win.
Yeah, well, you got your prediction semi-right. You predicted a win. It was 3-1 instead of 2-1. It would have been 3-0 if it wasn't for the Guehi own goal. But let's start off with the ratings. As I've said before, we are working on the new format for the overlays in terms of ratings. So those will arrive hopefully sooner rather than later. There's a lot to catch up on, which I will be doing. So for this one, no overlays, but we'll get into it anyways. You know, you can still see us and hear us. Let's start off with Dean Henderson. Wow, what a performance. I would have to give him a 9 out of 10. I don't know why I won't give him a 10 out of 10 because the goal that we conceded was an own goal. Overall, his distribution, maybe that's the only reason why. 49% passing accuracy, which is low. But apart from that, his saves, 9 out of 10. He was fantastic for us, and he kept us in the game when called upon. And what I love about him more than anything is his passion for this side. It is unreal. Like, he's bought into this Palace ethos. Like, he understands what this game means for us. He understands the other games as well. And I think he genuinely means it. I think he's come from a genuine place. And yesterday after the game, I was thinking about it. I was, this is the goalkeeper that we could have for the next 5 to 10 years. I won't be surprised because of how much he's brought into the club. But for you?
Yeah, I gave him an 8.5. The saves are brilliant. I'll just say maybe the one where he dropped and he was a bit hesitant in the first half. There was a ball and he came out. He hesitated a little bit, but other than that, he was perfect all game. And obviously the passion at the end. It was the same at Ipswich as well. He's been a changed man since Sam Johnson's gone, and yeah, there's no complaints. He's on form.
Yeah, he gets it. That's the biggest thing that I can say about him, to be fair. So let's see what the future holds. But I do see him as a Palace player for the long-term future. But let's move on to the defense. Trevor Chalobah with the goal yesterday, of course. But even apart from the goal, I thought his overall performance was fantastic. For me, it was his best 90 minutes in the Palace kit so far. I think ever since the second half of the City game, he's grown. I mean, second half against City, he was composed. This game, 90 minutes, fantastic defensively. There's times where we've seen this season, he might go out of position or it might be like a misplaced pass or something that could lead to a goal. But it seems like he's grown into the side. And for me, yesterday, I have to give him a 9. He was fantastic.
Yeah, I gave him a 9 as well. I'll probably give Henderson an 8.5 because there was a few players that were a bit better. So I didn't want to... I definitely think Chalobah had a better game. I probably think he was the best of the back three. Got his goal. I think we spoke about in the preview about Mitoma. He has his qualities, but he's been found out a little bit. And I feel like Chalobah done a job on him. He was forced backwards every time. I don't think he got beat 1v1. Supported Munoz. It was an all-round top performance, and he's another one that's bought into the club and the fans. Like Henderson, he's the first one over, and we've given him Conor Gallagher's chant as well.
So. Yeah, exactly. Like whatever Chelsea player comes on loan, we just pass the chant over. Of course, we didn't have one for Loftus-Cheek. I can't remember, but yeah, we're giving him the Gallagher chant, and let's see how it works out because there were a few people, including myself, I'm not going to deny it, thinking, would I want to sign Chalobah on a permanent? Like, is there better options out there? However, if he plays like he did consistently, like he did yesterday, then 100%. And I think it's a case of him growing into the side, because just like other players, he didn't have any preseason, to be fair. Just any preseason full stop, because he got him out. So, he's probably needed a few months to adjust, and he's been adjusting fantastic. Then talking about adjusting, Lacroix, he's come to this Palace side, and forget about adjustment. He's the main man in defense. For me, Guehi, of course, is the captain, and we know what he can do. But Lacroix in that back three, you can see exactly why we wanted to sign him. There was times, I think it was in the first half, when Brighton were attacking our end, where he had that pace, where João Pedro was you just see him sprinting. You're thinking, how on earth are you this fast as a defender?
And 6'4",
and the referee gave a wrong foul. But apart from that, he's 94% passing accuracy yesterday, 47 touches. In terms of the ground and aerial duels won, it's surprising because I'm just looking at the stats right now, but it's only 1 out of 2 for both of them, so he didn't have that many. But his position, his leadership, and his pace, most importantly, helped us. And for me, yes, I gave Chalobah a 9. I want to give Lacroix similar as well. I do want to give him similar, because I do think all back three, well, we'll talk about Guehi's own goal, all of the back three played in a similar level. So for me, I'm going to give Lacroix a 9.
I gave him an 8.5 just because I wanted to give Chalobah the highest out of the 3. But yeah, like you said, ridiculous pace. I think Brighton kind of, they know he likes to step in. So I think with the ground duels, they weren't really playing to the striker's feet where they was marking, who Lacroix was marking. So that's why I think, and they were playing a lot of balls in behind, hence why he didn't have many ground duels. But flawless performance, swept up everything, threat from set pieces, threat the other way from defensive set pieces. Yeah, again, first one over to the fans, and head of the defense and head of the church group as well.
Yeah, head of the church group as well. Taking over Joe Ward. I think Joe Ward is like the CEO. Is like the main boss, the final boss. But Lacroix on the pitch, because Wardy ain't playing as much. He's like the head of the group. He's brought everyone together. When you look at the celebration, you can see everyone that's going to church celebrate together. But yeah, Lacroix's fantastic, and he's only 24. He's going to improve from here onwards, and that is why I did want to sign him in the summer over Anderson, because it makes sense in the back three anyways in terms of his qualities. Guehi, own goal. Yes, that was a very unfortunate own goal. So I'm not going to deduct any real points for that. It's not something that you could have done. The ball was booted at him. There's nothing you could do. It was booted at him. He just bounced off him back into the back of the net. But apart from that, 79% passing accuracy. Only 1 out of 6 ground duels won. He got a yellow card as well. 2 out of 2 aerial duels won. I do think out of the back three, I think, as I said, the back three, all 3 of them were brilliant. But if I had to pick one player, maybe a bit lower, it would be Guehi because of the yellow card. But saying that, it's still, I mean, it sounds harsh. And I'm not I'm going to give Guehi a 6. I'll give Guehi an 8 out of 10 rather than a 9 out of 10, which an 8 out of 10 is still a great performance. But for me, Lacroix and Chalobah was near enough excellent.
Yeah, I gave Guehi an 8. The yellow card, I'll forgive it because he absolutely wiped out Lamperty, and he ended up coming off at half time. I think Guehi, although he might have not been the strongest out of the 3 yesterday, I think with build-up play, he's the best out of the 3. He can go both ways. You can see him going on his left foot, goes on his right foot. He can play line-breaking passes. The one that he did to Eze, who then drove forward, who gave to Mateta, which ended up in the goal in the end. I think he's the most comfortable on the ball out of the 3 centre halves. He's not bad at crossing either from that deep left-hand side.
The far post.
Yeah. And like I said, in the last, I think it might have been the last match ratings, I was saying how much we've improved on that left-hand side with Guehi pushing up and Mitchell pushing up. It seems like we're 10, 15 yards up the pitch. And like you said, Guehi don't give you less than an 8 out of 10 every week. So, yeah, that's just normal for him.
Yeah, it's consistent. It's just unfortunate that he's got 2 own goals in the last 3 games now. Yeah, which is crazy. But the good sign is that we're not conceding that many goals. So, apart from City, it was the 2 goals against City, and I think for one of the goals in particular, we could have done a bit better defensively. The Rico Lewis one, there was a gap there. But Yeah, we've been solid defensively, and this back three is growing, so I'm happy with all of them. Talking about the wing backs now, let's start off with Mitchell, then go to Munoz. Normally start off with Munoz, go to Mitchell, but I want to give props to Mitchell for that assist. I want to start with that assist for Sarr's goal, because that cross was class. Like, Perfect. It was unbelievable. The swerve, the height, the placement. Yes, Sarr done good to finish it, but that all came from Mitchell. And I thought yesterday he done a good job. Good job defensively. Yeah. Maybe he could have done a bit better with his passing accuracy 61%, but he didn't really feel like it during the game. I can't really remember him being that bad at passing, which 61% is not awful, but it's still lower than usual. But yeah, that assist is what we want to see going forward. But of course, it's going to be hard. But you can see maybe the hard works in the training ground is paying off. For me, I'll give him a 8 out of 10 yesterday because of course he contributed to the goal.
Yeah, I gave him an 8 as well. Could have been an 8.5 because if we're being honest, he was up against, as a left wing back, you're there by yourself, and he's up against Lamptey, he was up against Minte, then he come off, and then he was up against Adingra, and every single one of them didn't get a change out of him. And again, we was talking about it in the previous. We don't need him to do step overs and running behind. We just needed to make direct runs. He did another one before the goal. He's played one in behind, and we had another chance. He just looks much more confident. And it was a gamble because Lamptey, terrible defending from him, but he gambled on Lamptey making a mistake. And then there was composure for the cross. Second half, he got in a great position again, but he overhit a cross similar. But yeah. He's an 8, but he could easily be 8.5. And if he carries on this form, that new left wing back who he looks to bring in, it will be tough to shift him out.
But that's what we want still. For me, anyways, I still want another left wing back because I feel
like we said, as soon as there's been talks about a new left wing back coming in, this guy has just gone Super Saiyan.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's natural though, because you're just in your comfort zone. Regardless of what people say, I refuse to believe that a player that knows he's playing week in, week out, even if he had a howler against Brighton, he's starting the next game against Arsenal because no one else can play there. He's not going to play Schlupp there, is he? So naturally, if you know that there's another player potentially coming for your spot, or the club wants to strengthen in your area, you just need to step up your game. And, he has stepped it up. And for me, when we do actually sign another wing back, then his game even goes to another level when that player is actually at a football club and you're training with him and there's a genuine threat to your spot. So it's only the benefit for us and for him as well. But yesterday's cross in the first, for the first goal, second goal. It was the second goal, right? Yeah.
Second goal, yeah.
Was fantastic. Munoz on the other side, in terms of ground duels and aerial duels, 2 out of 4 aerial duels won, 4 out of 10 ground duels won. I thought his passing was solid as well, 80%, 20 out of 25 passing accuracy. And you could have potentially had the goal up until VAR ruled it out. So he's getting involved going forward. But both with Mitchell and Munoz, I do have to add that at times it was always the overload was on their side. So their game was much more difficult because Brighton tried to put like 3 players against our 2 at times. Maybe the centre back will shift to help the wing back. So they had a more of a difficult job. But apart from that, of course, he's going to be suspended for the next few games, which is unfortunate because of his yellow card in the cup and the league. But I thought he had a solid performance. Maybe not Mitchell level. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. But still, defensively, he didn't look out of place. And as I've said about the back line, I was just amazed because Brighton had so many attackers and they didn't really create that many chances.
Yeah. I gave him an 8. Maybe marked him down for the yellow card. It was a bit unnecessary. The player wasn't really going anywhere. But he had a chance. When I watched the extended highlights, he had a really good chance in the first half where the shot rebounded it to him in the 6-yard box. He got it on target, but he might have done better with that shot. But the link up with Sarr looks much better. There were so many times he was playing him in behind, or Sarr was playing him in behind. He was a constant threat going forward. The energy is ridiculous. I don't know. He's just up and down the whole game. When him and Mitchell are playing well, I think the whole team plays well. So yeah, I give him an 8, and he can have a rest now. I know he misses the next 2, but rest him up. Then he'll be fresh with Bournemouth and Southampton.
Yeah, we haven't really noticed that maybe, we don't really talk about it as much, but at the start of the season when Munoz was actually struggling, he didn't really have that support. Maybe him and Sarr have now got that connection and finally, have them overlapping runs and find a few more spaces in behind because he's finally got that play in front of him, which is settled because we just changed it about. Mateta would play and Ketia will play. Like it just, the front three it was just a full on rotation. But now that it's settled, I think it's paying off for Munoz.
Yeah, as a left back, I don't think I'd like to play against Sarr and Munoz. Like blistering pace, and then just someone who just don't stop running non-stop. So,
I don't know how he does it, by the way. Like he genuinely doesn't stop running for like 90 minutes.
He'll play 90 minutes, and then the next day he'll be in the gym with a personal trainer.
yeah, that's the mad thing. Like there's no recovery. Like it's like, all right, I just done my job. Let's go again. Let me recover for one day, then I'm back. If it was up to like if he could play against Arsenal, run 90 minutes like that again. Like we've seen him for long enough to know that he's got the energy. But both the wing backs done a solid job. But for me, Mitchell, so that assist was a bit higher. Now midfielders, Hughes and Lerma, there's no surprise there in terms of them starting. I don't know how to feel about the midfield because I thought they done a good job, but it's like Brighton were attacking in wide areas more than central areas. But then when Lerma was called up on, or Hughes was called up on, they're putting a tackle. Hughes put 6 out of 15 ground drills won, for example. Let's start off with him. 74% passing accuracy, but he only had like 34 touches, which is not that much, to be fair. It's like he had more of like a defensive duty. When we were attacking, we went a bit more direct. We didn't have to use the midfield as much because that's how we found out the space. I know in the first 15 to 20 minutes that wasn't the case, but Hughes and Lerma were basically instructed to do the defensive job, and if we have the ball, try to give it to wide areas. And I thought they've done it both pretty well. I'm going to give Hughes I don't know if I want a 7.5 or 8 because I thought defensively he was fantastic. I'm going to stick with 8 because, as I said, defensively he was solid. He lost the ball 11 times, but I didn't really feel like it. Him and Lerma. But what do you make of Hughes' performance?
I give Hughes an 8. I feel like the two midfielders, they wasn't asked to do a pretty job today. It was to keep the ball moving, get the ball off the centre halves, calm it down, because when you're playing against teams like Brighton who are like possession-based high, at that play of a high line, when you get the ball, you need to look after it, and Hughes done that. Also shutting off the passing lanes where those little pockets that João Pedro and Ruta wanted to get into. It was all about cutting those out. I think Babella was like, he's class. He was he was very, very good, and he's strong. He's got pace. He can drive with the ball, relaxed. So it was tough. It was tough to play against them, but they've done the perfect job. He ran his socks off. You could see he might have got a little bit tired after the game against City and then the game against Brighton. But I'm going to give him an 8. I couldn't see anything wrong with his performance. Sometimes, like we said, the stats might not make it look like he had a great game, but from the eye test, I haven't got one complaint.
Yeah, that's the same with me with Lerma as well. I'm going to give him an 8 as well.
Yeah, same.
I thought both of them held their positions well defensively. There was no spaces for Brighton to run into. When they were called upon, they stepped up to block the passing lane or to intercept the ball. I thought both of them, most importantly, maybe the stats might not show it, but positionally they were just at the right spots at the right time, and they didn't make it easy. So Lerma similar performance to.
I think Lerma's just like a carbon copy of Hughes' performance. Like you could probably put them together as the same rate and same performance.
Yeah, literally.
And these are, by the way, these are our backup centre midfielders, by the way.
That's the thing. We was talking about it after the game. It's like, wait, we got Walter coming back, potential for Arsenal. But we'll talk about it in the preview. Yeah. But does Walton start? I mean, Decore, that's been fit, by the way. He's on the bench. He's sitting on the bench. We said Walton, Decore, once they're back, that's fine. But I don't know if it's as simple as that. I don't know if they're both walking to the side. Let's see. It's good that we have this problem, though. The fact that you can bench Decore.
Perfect problem.
Exactly. And it shows the manager getting the best out of the players. Will Hughes, he wasn't a bad player for us under Roy, but he was sometimes playing in the wrong position, wrong system. But you see him with Glasner, he just knows how to get the best out of him, and Lerma as well. Yeah. Let's see what happens in that game. Let's talk about the front three. Let's start off with Sarr. I do want to start off with Sarr. I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10. I'll be honest. Yeah, I'm going to give him a 10 out. I don't know what you're going to give him.
I had a 9.5, but
9. You're so like greedy.
It's a 10.
It's a 10.
It's a 10.
Why did 9.5? Just give him the 10. What is he missing?
10's a hat trick. 10's a hat trick.
Hat trick. He got assist. He got assist. That's
true,
3GA in the game. He was fantastic. He was fantastic. But at the start of the game, it was annoying. Not because Sarr in particular was playing bad, but what he was asked to do, maybe, it was a bit confusing. He's dropping in deep into our own half when there was spacing behind. And me and you, of course, was at the game together. It was like, why is he doing that? There's so much spacing behind. Like, get the ball to someone and hoof over the top and let Sarr run into the space. And then afterwards, as the game went on, especially in first half, we started to realize, hold up, wait a minute, why are we just playing that from the back? Go a bit more direct. And as soon as we went direct, that's when Sarr started cooking. The first goal that he scored, fantastic in terms of being at the right place at the right time to head the ball in. The second goal, using his pace and his strength again to go past Dunk and a few other Brighton defenders. And then he got the assist for the Chalobah one, which I don't know if that really counts. I'll be honest. I don't know what he really done there in that set piece goal. But overall, he was a problem. He was a problem. And Ismaila Sarr, how you get the best out of him is when teams play a high line and the spacing behind, because there isn't that many players faster than Sarr, especially defenders. And today, once again, he cooked. For me, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think maybe Glasner does it the first 15, 20 minutes, Sarr dropping in to maybe be a decoy. I don't know. So it looks like we're going to play that way. Then they switch at a certain point. I don't know. That might be a thing. But the same thing was happening at Ipswich. I say it again and again. Sarr, when he's got his back to their goal, when he's facing us, he's not a threat. As soon as we get him in behind or we're getting him in space, he's terrorizing any defense in this league. The first goal, great header, great movement, peeled off to the back post. Just great finish. Then the second goal, it's just the anticipation. Like, he knew where it was going to bounce, and he's so quick. Dunk doesn't even have a chance. He looks like he's treading water. And the finish, exactly like the Villa one, nice and composed, slotted it, exactly what Nketiah should have done. But and the celebration that he done was same as Wilf, right in front of the away end. And
that's not planned, is it?
Listen,
he just done it.
I don't know.
People say, is it planned or not? I don't think he went and maybe he went and watched some highlights of Palace Brighton to understand the game. But
we was talking before about you score in this game, you score a winner in this game, like you're etched into history. And there it is. You could see at the end, they was all pushing him. You go to the front. Do you know what I mean? And obviously that new chant for Sarr's class as well. So I think he's
a humble guy. He's a humble guy.
But he said a couple of weeks ago about Glasner. He's been asking Glasner how can he improve, and he was saying Glasner's praises of how much he's helping him improve. So you can kind of see it on the pitch now.
Yeah, I did think when we signed him that Glasner, not that he's playing in that position right now, but I could see him being like a number 9 in this system in terms of scoring goals, because he's got the physical attributes that Glasner wants. He's got the pace, he's got the strength. So now that the goals are working, I'm not surprised that he's had that conversation with Glasner now that he's scoring, because it's a simple case of I think Glasner getting the best out of the players once again. Moving over to the other side, Eze, he got stopped off 60th minute. Which some people were not happy with at the time. In terms of his stats, 92% passing accuracy, which he didn't feel like it. Not that, to be fair, he didn't misplace that many passes. I think the problem with Eze was that at times we might slow down the game a bit too much when we're trying to pass it around.
There was that bit in the first half when we both got frustrated.
And you saw it. It's when the subs happen. Not just him, with Mateta as well. The game did change, and we'll talk about that. But for me, Eze, the biggest thing about Eze, which we might have not noticed, is that his ground duels 7 out of 8 won, which sounds like incredibly high for a player that's meant to be creative. I'll be honest, I'll give him a 7 at best out of 10.
Yeah. Do you know what? I was on Twitter. Do you know the Euro expert guy, the one who works for the Athletic? I was reading his tweets, and he was saying, like, from his view, Eze was doing really well, and there was a tactical switch of Lerma pulling out to the left and Eze occupying those middle thirds, and I think maybe he done a job for Glasner more than like what the fans expect him to get on the ball, dribble past 2 people and bend it in the far corner. That's what we kind of associate Eze with. He didn't really light it up. I'd give him a 7 as well. But listen, he's still one of our best players, and I think we should stick with him.
Yeah, he starts against Arsenal. The good thing is we subbed him off after the 60th minute. We still managed to win the game. And yeah, he still starts for me against Arsenal. And against Arsenal, hopefully he gets on the ball a bit more. And there should be even further space. But yeah, that's going to be a real test against Arsenal with Gabriel Saliba, which we'll talk about in preview. Mateta, I'll be honest, when he got subbed off, I was not against it, but I was also a bit confused because whilst watching him, I didn't think he had that much of a bad game. But then afterwards, when you mentioned it, I think in the air, that's where he kind of struggled against Dunk. And we weren't really winning any balls. And he had 23 touches, which is not a lot. He only won 1 out of 10 ground rules, 1. I don't think it was his best game. He lost the ball 11 times as well. But times, especially in the first half, when you get the ball, you try to lay it off to someone. And that seemed like he did work. But then as the game went on and on, it seems like he just struggled against, especially when they went to a back 3 in the second half, he just couldn't do much because it was just him against like 2 other defenders and there's no one to play off. But for me, I would have to give Mateta like a 6.5 out of 10. Because I struggled.
I gave him a 7, but it could be a 6.5. I just think the game plan today, it was going to have to be an unselfish performance for him. I think it was about occupying the defenders and being in the right places off the ball. It was never going to be like fruitful for him. I feel like it was always going to be a tough slog. And we said in the ground, as much as we don't like Dunk, he is quite a good centre half. And there was a lot of times where he made Mateta look like a basic striker. But I think the substitution for Nketiah just worked. It was just something different, something more to worry about, a little bit more pace in behind. But like I said, I'm happy with his performances. I think he's great for the team. They're like, even with the whole Sarr thing, he's the one pushing Sarr towards the fans. And I think he's like a big character in the dressing room.
Yeah, he is. Even after the game, his celebrations and him copying celebration during the game as well. He's a massive character, and I've bought into him more as the time's gone by. And he's massively improved, by the way, from the player he was when he first joined us and now. He massively improved, especially his first touches, etc. So yeah, credit to him. Let's talk about the bench and let's go through these players quickly because there isn't really much to talk about apart from Nketiah and Kamada. I know Klein and Decore and Devaney came on, but it wasn't for too long. For me, Kamada and Nketiah had the same rating. It's 7 out of 10. Nketiah, yes, he missed that massive first chance in front of goal, which is unfortunate. And you can tell his confidence is not there just yet. Got assist for the Sarr goal, which was good to see. And I feel like when he did first come on, him and Kamada, the game did shift because his first touch wasn't as bad as it was as the game went on. As the game went on, it kind of got isolated and he wasn't having the impact that he was having when he did first come on. But yeah, I think there were a lot of positives between Nketiah and Kamada. I thought Kamada looked decent out there. He was putting in the effort. He was getting on the ball. He was trying to keep things simple. And I don't remember him giving the ball away in silly areas, for example. He had
great tackle as well.
He didn't give the ball away. All his passes were accurate, and like he put in the effort, and he just went back to basics. So I think both of them, they had a positive impact, which is what you want from the bench, and we ended up scoring with them on the pitch rather than Mateta and Eze.
Yeah, I give both of them a 6.5. Nketiah just lacking confidence. Like even when he went through, I don't think anyone was like that confident he was going to tuck it away. I think a confident striker goes around the keeper maybe because the keeper came rushing out. But he's got the assist, great flick on because Mateta wasn't winning much and he come on and win a header against Dunk. Yeah. Kamada, there was a great tackle. It was a bit like scary that he dived in, but he won the challenge.
Yeah. Oh yeah, in the box. Near the box.
Yeah, there was a lot of people around us that wasn't happy with the substitution. But if you was at the game, those first 15 minutes after the second half, they changed to a back 3. They were on us. And that substitution on about 60 minutes, it kind of took the sting out of the game, the 2 substitutions. Then it gave Brighton 2 new things to think about. So the whole flow of the game just changed a little bit. So I think Glasner, we got Glasner to thank for when he brought them on. And it's only and it's only going to give them confidence that the manager trusts them, because it was 2-0. It was in the balance, and it shows that the manager trusts them and they're an important part of the squad. And I think Glasner got that right.
Yeah, he did. And I think the biggest thing, as I've said, with Nketiah and Kamada, is the fact that when they did come on the pitch, they tried to keep the ball, and I had that one or two plays bouncing off each other as well. So it was like nice 1-2s and trying to keep the ball up there, and I think that took the sting out of the game. But as the game went on, we kind of did, especially Nketiah did struggle.
There was that little play where I think Kamada played it to Mitchell and he cut it back, and Decore nearly scored. That little,
nearly, exactly.
Yeah. So
we give something for Brighton to think about. I think the problem, especially in the start of the second half, we both knew it. Like, they were going to come out, and they were going to come out strong. So we just had to survive the first 15 minutes. But I don't think it was a case of just surviving the first 50 minutes. There was a change was needed, because they made a change, and we had to counteract that. And then it kind of gives you the perspective of what maybe Eze and Mateta weren't doing when you saw Nketiah and Kamada come on, where they tried to go on the ball. Because at the start of the second half, every time we had the ball, we'd just hoof it up there, and Mateta would just lose it. Like, we just didn't have anything out there, and it's like constant Brighton pressure. But then Nketiah and Kamada kind of took that sting out of the game, and we got the second balls, for example, and we attacked them, so they couldn't just like lord forward as they were doing at the start of it. Go on.
I would say Nketiah before the miss looked really sharp, and then I feel like his confidence did take a hit after he missed. His touch started to be a bit loose, and it looked like his game dipped a bit. But I think Glasner will do well to just tell him to keep going, and he's got 2 games against his former club, so let's hope he gets a goal in one of those.
Let's see what happens with that, because he loves, apparently, according to Arsenal fans, love scoring in the League Cup. So what a great occasion it'll be if he scored against Arsenal. Klein came on, Decore came on, and Devaney came on. I don't have anything particular to say about those. I didn't even realize, I was too busy celebrating to realize that Klein was even on the pitch. Until I realized that towards the end of the game, hold up, that's Nathaniel Klein. He came off for Mitchell. I asked you. And yeah, I mean, if I was to give a rating like a 6, I don't know what to say about them. Just there.
You can't really give them a rating, really.
Exactly, yeah. Like, there's no rating to give them. But that's it. 3 points, 3 goals. And we've got a massive, massive week now. Double header against Arsenal, the League Cup game on Wednesday, the Premier League game on Saturday, and then we've got Boxing Day and more. But finally, the Palace are back, in my opinion. We are finally, getting the results and performing to a good level. 1 loss in the last 9. Which I have to keep building on it. I have faith in the manager. I have faith in the players. And let's see what happens this week. But if you have enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like and also subscribe if you are new to the channel. And we'll be back, of course, for more content throughout the week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But until next time, up the Palace.